Hello, YouTube friends. Today we are going to do a shop review for Goimagine. I haven't done a shop review in a while, so this will be a little bit rusty for me, I guess. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into a few separate sections, but it'll all be one video for you guys, but you'll see me go away and come back a few separate times. That way we can I can focus and make sure that I don't forget anything important that I wanted to go over. So today's shop review is for Crafted Carvings. Jennifer runs this shop and she asked for a shop review on my Facebook group that we have going on called Goimagine Help. So if you are having issues or want some help with your shop, that's a great group to join on Facebook, and it will be linked down in the description of this video, so you can always check it out that way as well. But Jennifer asked for a review. She's been she's been selling on Goimagine for a while, and she also has an Etsy shop and has been making wooden signs and things for many years, so she knows what she's doing. There's not a ton that I have for her as far as improvements and everything, but we're just going to kind of go through things step by step. The first part that I'm going to talk about is the shop itself. We'll go through and look at how the shop looks and just some of the main parts to it, and then we'll have a separate section where I will go into the products themselves and look at some details on that, and then we'll also look at SEO and how things are being searched for in Goimagine and what's showing up for her products when we search certain keywords, and then we'll have kind of just a overview of everything, and maybe something else in between. I have so many ideas and so many things that I want to talk about, but first of all, we are on her shop's main page, and she does have her own domain and mosaic site, craftedcarvings.com. And I really think it's smart that at the very top of the screen where we can add our own little message to the customer announcement, I want to say it's called. She says custom requests are welcomed, and processing time is about 1 to 2 weeks for your fully custom items made just for you on most items. So she's just making it really clear that she's making these herself. Right away that you're not getting some pre-made item, and she's also letting you know that she's got custom requests in there. So that's really important because a lot of people like to customize things, and a lot of her products have a lot of customizable options. So as we scroll through, we've got at the top the banner, and it does move every so often. And to me, the banner has a lot going on with all the different products showing. It's a little much for my taste, but it's not bad by any means. I like that she's got the one with her photo here, and she's got pictures in the background of her wood shops. That's really great. You can connect with her and know that she's a real person and that she is making these items in her own wood shop. So that's really good, and I think creates trust with the buyer, which is really important. And then if we scroll down, she's got her featured products here. She's got 6 featured products. I like that number personally. It needs to be in groups of 6. So you need to either have 6, 12, 18, or 24 featured products, something like that. If you have 3, then when someone's looking on mobile, they're just going to see 1, 2, and then 3 over to the side here. Or if you have only 2, it's not enough, and then if you had 4, then someone was looking on their desktop, then it would show 3 across, and then it would show just a 4th one, and it would just look like something's missing there. So that's why we really recommend 6 being kind of the minimum, and then you can do also 12 or 18 or whatever if you would prefer. So she's got the 6 in here, and I talked to her a little bit and asked her which are her most best-selling products, and she told me the clubhouse sign, which is an example of that, is this 3rd one here, and also the bathtub trays and the laptop trays was on her list. And then there was a 3rd one, the memorial plaques, which isn't in her featured products, which I would consider maybe having that be in the featured products, but maybe she's trying to promote some of these that aren't as popular right now and try to get more people interested in them, that kind of thing. So that's a thought. Her prices, it does catch my eye, and I notice it right away that the clubhouse sign is $39 $0.95 and everything else is an even dollar amount. So that kind of looks weird. I think they should all be $0.95 or even dollar amount. There's a lot of not controversy, but a lot of talk about how the prices should be, if they should end in 0.99, if they should end in 0.95, or if they should be even dollar amounts. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just something that some people kind of put a lot of thought into, psychology behind that. What do buyers think of that? But I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. I think the prices of the products seem a little bit low on some of them to me. I know that we're kind of not in the best place right now when it comes to our economy, so that may be part of the thought process there. But $39.95 for a custom sign that's real wood, everything that seems a little bit low to me personally. But that's, once again, do your research. The best way to kind of decide for sure if that's true is by taking a bunch of products and in your niche and then trying to price towards the top of what everybody else is pricing and kind of do it that way. So that's a thought. If we click down a little bit further, she's got a link to her Pinterest, and then she's got a picture of her workshop here, and it does say click here to check out my YouTube videos. I did watch a couple of her YouTube videos, and they're really good. She talks about what she's doing, and then she speeds up the process, and then you can see the whole process that's going, and it's very clear that it's not a really simple, quick process, that it does take time and energy to make these. So that's great, because you want people to know that their $40+ sign is worth it. It's not some thin piece of wood that she put some vinyl over and it took her a half an hour to an hour. No offense to anybody who works with vinyl. I work with vinyl, but I wouldn't ever, charge for $40 for something with just somebody's name on it in vinyl, because I know that that's not only going to take me, maybe 45 minutes the most to make. So it just depends. But yeah, so it's great to have her YouTube channel. She's obviously spent a lot of time making those videos, and that's really helpful, and it just really helps her to have another way for people to find her as well, because somebody could find her through YouTube and then they could decide to buy something from her that way. And then at the bottom here, she says, more than 4 decades in the making. I got my start in middle school and sold my first sign in 2015. Click to check out my reviews. And I did go to her review section, and she's got a lot of really great reviews. There is one less than favorable review that's 3 years old, I want to say, somewhere around there, that the person was unhappy about. But when you see hundreds of reviews that are good and just one that's bad, it's really not that big of a deal. Things happen, and there's nothing that you can really do about that rogue bad review, except for just try to make sure that there's not something you're doing that you could improve upon to avoid that. So anyways, and then when you have your mosaic site, you don't see anything about Goimagine on here. You'll notice at the very bottom there is a meet the maker, contact us, and shop policies. So these are links that they automatically set up for us, but then there's these other links that are within, that she made and chose for each of her sections that she wanted people to know about. So if you click on like meet the maker, then it's going to take us to a separate page, and we can see more about Jennifer, and it's pretty cool. So, welcome to my one-woman shop. My name is Jennifer. I'm an Army veteran, mom to an Army reservist, social worker, Christian. It's like she's really giving you a lot to connect with if you have any of these things in common with her. And she's not keeping anybody out. It's not like you feel like, oh, well, I'm not a Christian, so I can't shop here. It's just, these are things that can help you connect with somebody. You don't have to have everything in common with them, but if you have even one of these things in common with her, then you're going to feel that connection, and she's a real person, and I have something in common with her. It's just one of those little things that you don't really think about a lot, but it does make a difference. So definitely think about that. And then as we Scroll down, we have a nice smiling picture of her that's really great because we know she's a real person, and we see that. And then it also takes you to the reviews from there. I'm not going to go there right now because it has people's names on it and stuff, but and she's from California, so if you're also from I'm from California too, it's just one of those things that's going to make you more likely to buy if you're on the fence. Something to keep in mind when it comes to looking at the shop is that it's not necessarily super duper important to spend hours and hours and hours in perfecting this, because it is 1 out of every 50 customers that's going to actually go and look into all of this. However, the higher price items that you have, the more likely that your customer's going to research you more before they make a purchase with you. So it's very smart for her to spend a lot of time on this, because she does have items that are, like over, I don't remember exactly, but like $100, I think, at least. So, she might have some things that are only $25 to $40, but she has some things that are much more expensive as well. And these things look like a certain price, but if you want a bunch of add-ons, then it's going to be more expensive. For some reason, I just can't remember. I'm hearing a really weird noise outside of my window right now. I don't know what it is. Metal signs are usually expensive. No, her metal signs are pretty inexpensive. Well, I suck at this, but you get the point. Even if it is $30, $50, that's still money, that you're going to be spending on, a product, and the more you know about the person, the better, for sure. But, like I said, I still just think that these prices are a little bit low. $30, $35. If they're really small, I guess, but they just seem like they're a little bit bigger. We can get into all those details when we go into each of the products. But the point of what I was trying to say, I'm just so distracted by this weird sound because I don't know what it is. It sounds like a failing horn honking over and over again. Anyways, so the thing that I'm trying to say is that the higher priced your items are, the more it is important to get all of those details right. If you're selling little magnets for $5 each or whatever, people are going to buy based on a quicker response. But when the higher the dollar value, the more people are going to wait and think about it, and they're going to make sure it's what they want. And they're going to look and see how thick is that, and how does it hang? And they're going to look at more of those details. So it is worth it to put that information in on your listing and be more detail oriented, as well as tell more about yourself and your process. Because the thing is when we've got shoppers on Goimagine especially, they want to be sure that it's handmade. They may have been burned in the past and bought something on Etsy or somewhere and thought that it was handmade, and then they got it, and then all of a sudden their friend's like, oh yeah, I got something just like that on Amazon. Let me look. Oh, it's exactly the same, and I paid half the price. And you're gonna get pretty frustrated if you're one of those people that's been in one of those situations. So anyways, I'm rambling a bit about that, but in general, it's just really good to give those details. Overall, the shop looks really nice. The pictures are really good. Usually I'd be a little bit pickier about having so many different kinds of backgrounds in the pictures, but I know that some of these signs are really big, and it's going to be hard to photograph those. I don't really even have a lot of advice on how to photograph really large, really long items like this sign that has the full address on it with the dog down here. It's like so long. To me, it's just like you're gonna have to make a mock-up of that. You're not gonna be able to use just your standard photo. So a lot of them are the same, and they are with this kind of rocky background, and they look nice. I would say this one at the bottom that says Welcome George, that one with the blue, it's a little distracting because it's more color than anything else in this, especially with the blue tones. You see all these kind of orange and red tones on here, and then you just see this kind of blue background, and it's a little different, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not bad. The pictures are good. They're clear. You can, see the item really well, and you can tell that the items are really good quality. And when we get into the details in the next section that I'm going to do, we'll go into some of the actual products. You can really see the detail of the items, which is nice. But yeah, that's it for the overall shop. We're going to get into the individual products. We're going to get into the SEO portion of this, and then a couple other little bonus ones here in just a minute. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so I am back in a slightly different location for the second part of this critique for Jennifer's wood crafted carvings Goimagine shop. And one thing I wanted to make sure I point out is that there is this bathtub tray, and maybe I'm missing something. I'm probably missing something, but this bathtub tray is 46 to 60 inches long and 8 inches wide. But then if I go back to this other one, and it's $60 for the base price, and I go back to this other one, it is only 41 by 46 inches and 8 inches wide, and this one is $70. So I don't know if these prices got swapped, because this is the smaller one, and it is more money, and I can't figure out why. So there might be an issue there where those two got swapped, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just wanted to point that out, just in case. And looking at these bathtub trays, they're really cool. They're unique. I really like these that are made of the corian. I don't know for sure if I'm saying that right, but that makes them waterproof. So being kind of a person who tends to drop things in the water or get things wet or dirty when I don't mean to, that's pretty nice and handy that there's a material out there, but it's still a really nice material. It looks really good. And one thing I did want to say about all of the product descriptions is that they're very thorough. There's a lot of options. It's complicated. It is really complicated to sell something like this because you're offering all these different options, and you're wanting to give everybody all the options they want. I have problems with this personally because I want to let people choose from any color under the rainbow, and just tell me what you want and I'll make it happen. But for some reason it kind of scares buyers away sometimes when I do that, and I find when I make a ready-made product that's easy for them to buy and they don't have to select all these different things on the screen, that I'm more likely to get more sales that way. So the only thing I can think of for these is that if you added a couple of products that are more ready-made, that just say they come with this, this, and this, and it's this price. If you want more customizations, go to this listing and send them to that listing. And that's another thing that I wanted to say, is that you can put a link to another listing or back to your shop on your description. And I do recommend that you do that sometimes. I noticed, not on this one, but I noticed on the wood ones, you mention these ones and that they're waterproof. So if you had a link to one of these ones from your wood ones, and say, so if you want waterproof, take a look at these, and then put the link there, and let me know if you need help putting a link in the listing, but you've put links everywhere else, so I'm sure that you know how. That would probably help a little bit too for somebody who might be kind of technologically impaired, and they might hit the back button too many times, and then they've left your shop and then they forgot what they were doing or got busy and completely forgot about it. But if there was a link and they clicked it and it took them right to this waterproof one, then they're more likely to go through with the sale and finalize it. So that's something to consider. The photos are really good. Photos are really hard on such a big item. I really can't critique that because I couldn't do a better job. It's difficult to do all of that and to have the best lighting. And I really like this one with the kind of filtered light coming through. And then you put the text on a lot of your photos explaining this is an example with these options. So that hopefully helps. You've done everything you can basically to help people with all of these different options. It's a lot of options. The only thing I did notice is that it says that, there's tons of colors and whatnot, but there's no real examples of the colors of the material besides this picture, which it's a little bit hard to see. So if I wanted one with some blue, I wouldn't really know what kind of blue I might get. I mean, I guess I could maybe that didn't work. Try to close up on the photo. Yeah, like this, and then maybe I'd be able to see better. But, people are scared to ask questions, unfortunately. Otherwise, hopefully they would just message you and be like, I really want something that's kind of a greenish blue. Can you show me what you have right now that would work for that, or whatever. And I really like that you have all of these detailed policies in here. It's really good to have this in a photo. And then you have this handmade in the USA. I don't think all of the photos have these, or all of the listings. So I would recommend going back through and adding those to your listings. I definitely think it's worth it. It's something that people do value, and for them to have all that information right there, you are increasing the odds that they will go through with the purchase when they're just browsing. So that's my opinion. It probably wouldn't take very much time. I know that normally you can only do 10 images on Goimagine if you're going through the new dashboard. And I think at some point they might take away anything additional from the 10 images that we have. So that's going to be hard to fit more things in that we want. But you can also put some of these images in your how it's made section, and in your meet the maker section, there's places to put additional photos. So you could put some of those photos in those places if that happens. So that's something to consider. Something else, I had something on the tip of my tongue and I forgot what it was. I think this is kind of excessive amount of fonts to show them 2 different pages of fonts. I would almost just show them 1 page of fonts and then say more available like you did. But, it's up to you. It's kind of a lot of choices, and people do get overwhelmed with choices sometimes. And that's something that I've always struggled with. So I'm like in some closed up thing there. Let's see. Otherwise, yeah, you've got a lot of information for them, and this is just one particular type of listing. I mean, if we go to the wood signs, you've got, some different information in there. The photos are really good. They show a lot of examples and the different colors of wood, which is really nice. And then, yeah, this is a 4x12 cedar example or a 5x18. This is an 11x23 example with gloss finish, distressed edges, so you're letting people know they have options. They have a lot of options and how you can do the back with you can either do the eyelets or you can do the keyhole slot for them. It kind of tells you everything you need to know. However, I know humans, and they're just not good at all the choices. So if you just had some that didn't have choices, and then you have others that do have choices, and then on the ones that don't have choices, you can say, if you want more options, check out this listing that gives you tons of different options. And then you could say, if you want, just something ready-made, you don't have to make a lot of decisions, come back to this, go back to this listing. And so you could kind of refer people back and forth. Anyways, that's a really long way of trying to explain my thought process on that. But yeah, other than that, I feel like the descriptions are really good. Some of these titles are kind of long, but that's good for SEO. There's a lot of words that are getting in there that wouldn't get in there otherwise. So, I can't really scold you too much on that. I know some people don't like the long titles for Goimagine, but I don't really care that much. I don't really mind it. I was trying to think if there was anything else. I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, I wrote some notes down. I think that is kind of all I wanted to say about that. You have 75 products in here, which is a lot of products, but you could definitely get some more. But make sure that you're happy with everything you've got in here for the products that you have before you continue to add, of course, so you don't get kind of overwhelmed with it. But yeah, I really like these extra photos at the end with handmade in the USA. Maybe they all do have it and I just didn't scroll through all the photos for all of the listings, because some of them you do have a lot. It doesn't tell me how many photos were on here, but I think, you definitely have more than the 10 on most of them, if not all of them. So really good descriptions, really well written. I like the bullet points that you get to in the middle, so it really helps that information not look like a big blob of information that's overwhelming. So overall, I think it's really good. And like I said, the photos are good, they're clear, they're they show everything that the person needs to know, and that's really what you're going for, is, making sure that nobody has any questions that stops them from making the purchase. So, yeah. So that's pretty much all I have on the actual listings themselves. I'm going to come back with a couple more here in just a minute, and we'll get 2 more sections to this video. One of them will be on SEO and keywords, and then the other one will be on just ideas for things that you could do, and then just kind of wrapping it all up into a summary of how it's looking. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, I know I'm wording this like I'm going somewhere and you're waiting for me, but I know it's instantaneous, and here I am again. This is just a little different way that I wanted to do this time, so I can take little breaks in between and not ramble on, hopefully, and kind of catch myself when I'm talking too much. So yeah, now we're kind of looking at the SEO. Memorial plaque seems like a pretty big word. It's got a lot of searches on Google. It's got a lot of searches on Etsy, so it should have a lot of searches on Goimagine as well. And you said it was one of your bigger sellers, so when we type in memorial plaque, it's great. You are the first 3 out of 4 on here, and then you've got several more. You pretty much dominate the first page for your items, and there's a few others that kind of get towards lower down in the search, but you've got quite a few in here, which is great. I believe it's the same for the bathtub trays. There's not really a whole lot else out there under that at Goimagine right now, which is really awesome. And then, you just want to kind of look at more of the supplementary words that you want to rank for as well. But if this is, kind of one of your superstar keywords, then you're doing good. So that's awesome. Some keywords that I thought of that I didn't really find you for a whole lot. Cabin. I think when I searched cabin decor, I didn't find anything. Lodge or lake house, words like that. So since you have so many of those rustic wood signs, I think that would be, a really good area to make sure that you're in when it comes to your keywords. So if I go to cabin decor, of course, there's a lot of results. I have to hit this little button up here. It's not going to do anything. There's a lot of results here, and I could scroll through forever to try to look for years. One thing I can do, because a lot of these are less expensive, is I can do sorting from the highest price first, and that would get me to you or things that are similar to yours sooner. And we can see there's a lot of these really cool lake maps that people do. There's a lot of wood stuff here, and I might have already, I might miss one and not see it, but I didn't see any on the first couple of pages. I think there's one that shows up for yours under cabin, and I think, more than one of your products could definitely be called that, and you want to try to, get at least a few in there. I don't see them, but oh, there it is right there. I think this might be the only one, the National Park Service one right here. So, definitely take a look and see if you can get a couple more things that you would consider good for that category, and you could put those in there. Lake house, lodge, things like that. I think there's only one that shows up under man cave. When I see your products, especially your wood signs and your metal signs, I think of manly, stuff that a guy would be happy to have as far as decor on their house. Not to say that it's a single bachelor that doesn't have a wife and that the wife didn't pick it out, but it's something more neutral. It's not something too feminine, and it's got that rustic feel. So make sure that you have those words in there. I didn't even search rustic, which is crazy because rustic decor is a very common keyword, and I just didn't even think about it till just now. Let's just do that right now if I can type properly. Rustic decor. I have to hit this button. And of course, a whole bunch of things are showing up, I'm sure. I'm going from price highest to lowest, and there's some furniture in here for hundreds of dollars, so I'll skip down a little bit and get more towards the $50 range, which a lot of your items are at. Oh, we're still over 100. Goodness gracious. Sorry if that's making anybody dizzy. I'm scrolling real fast. Right now we're under 100 at least. Looking. Oh, now we're down to 70. Sorry if this is boring. It might be interesting. Everybody's seen all these other items that people are putting under rustic decor. Giving you some ideas, giving you something to think about. Below 50 now. And maybe you decided that you felt like that was just too saturated with all this other stuff and you didn't want to do it, which is fine. You know, that's completely up to you. I honestly didn't see anything. I was waiting until we got down to $40 before I decided that $39.99 or whatever, $39.95, whatever that one of those was. Oh, here's one right here. Cedar Barn Farm Rustic. Cuts off so I can't see the whole title, but yeah, so there's at least one there. There might be a couple, but you know, for me personally, that really describes pretty much all of your items kind of fit into the rustic category, and that's a very popular search word right now. I could look it up on eRank, and I'd bet that it's extremely popular. Of course, I have all these other windows open now, and I don't have eRank open anymore. Oh, I was gonna say too, I went onto Google and I searched custom waterproof bathtub tray, and definitely found your products in here. And it's good that you have so many videos, because when you search video, it's all you, and that's just awesome. But even when you search through shopping, here's your Goimagine link for this one right here, shows up pretty you know, not too far down on the page, so that's really good. But yeah, for the rustic, I don't know, I lost my eRank as one of my saved things on here because I have just too many things going on at once, of course. I had cabin sign searched here for, which is 170. Average searches, rustic decor. It's gonna be a lot, I know it is. So 885 average searches per month on Etsy. And then if we went to rustic signs, you know, it's probably going to be a little bit less, but it's still going to be a lot. It's something that people are looking for. 220. It's got a red mark there. It doesn't show that being that much, but that's still a lot, especially considering that, you know, if you can dominate a certain area on Goimagine, it's going to be more impactful because there's less competition. So anyways, this section was getting kind of long, but SEO is really important in my opinion, and it's good to make sure people can find you. You already have really good detailed descriptions. You have really good photos. So I think that, you know, working on the SEO is something that you could improve on potentially, and just make sure that you're not repeating too many words in your tags section. Instead, putting some additional words in there, like cabin, lodge, rustic, man cave, lake house, you know, things like that. Just trying to get a little bit more variation so you can get more people who are searching for those words to see your listings and potentially stumble upon you and see how great everything else is and make a purchase. But we will be back doing one last section here where we're going to kind of wrap everything up, an overview, and then also a couple of other suggestions that I came up with for you. Friends, I am back for the last portion of this this shop critique for Crafted Carvings, and this is kind of the wrap up of everything, but a couple of things first. I just wanted to mention there are a couple of ideas I had for additional products that Jennifer could make if she wanted to branch out on the products that she's making a little bit. I was thinking about different things for craft shows, like something like this right here. Some kind of display or stand for people to put their craft items on when they go to the craft shows and the farmers markets and things like that. These things are kind of hard to find in unique styles, and you could potentially have the shop, the company name on them, or something like that, or have a backing to it that has the company name on it. So something that could really fit in with what she's selling now. And then also I wanted to point out this Christmas tree, because she has a Christmas tree, but it's a flat one that lays against, hangs on the wall basically. But I have one of these. This my husband made for me. He spent a lot of time on it, and it's perfect for people who sell ornaments or jewelry that they want to hang. And there's not a whole lot of that on Goimagine right now, and these are really hard to come by and expensive. I looked on Amazon and for something just really cheap and basic, and really couldn't find anything. And it's not really that hard to make. He went really over the top and made, you can see at the bottom, like 3 layers on the base. But this is something that you could potentially also incorporate a place to put the company name on the display. And that could sell for a decent amount of money and could be something really helpful for our Goimagine vendors who are sell at shows and things like that, for the holiday season, for their ornaments, or like I said, for other things too, like jewelry. So that's just some suggestions of other items. This right here kind of reminded me of that first item that I showed, because it's, got the slots for the cards. So if you had something like this, but the slots were for jewelry, cards, or something like that, it could be an option for something to add to your shop. If you're looking to add things to your shop, if you're not looking to do that, then don't. You can just offer more variations from the things that you have and focus on perfecting everything that you have, and just building up a following and everything, and that's more than fine. But yeah, overall the shop is really great. It's put together really nice. Just to kind of summarize, there was a concern where there might be a pricing mix-up on the bathtub trays, so definitely check into that. And overall, I do recommend that when you really start to build up your listings on here, just go through and do an audit of everything and make sure that there's nothing that's kind of mixed up like that, a wrong price, or something else, because how can you catch that unless somebody brings it to your attention or you do an audit of every single thing. So it's something, just kind of have a checklist and go through it and just make sure you're not missing anything. Other than that, great photographs, really good products. Like I said, I think some of these things could be a little bit higher priced. That's just my opinion. If you want to keep them where they're at, that's definitely a personal decision. It's not really something for anybody else to really tell you what to do. And then, just my other options of putting links in your listings that take people to other listings, especially if you have a complex listing with a lot of options, and then you also have, if you make some listings that don't have a lot of options, and it comes this way, comes in this color, it comes with these features, and it's this price, that kind of thing, then you can kind of link them back and forth. It's completely up to you. If that just seems like it's going to get complicated and messy, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're making sales. You have a lot of sales on Etsy, and you've been on there for years, I saw, and you're doing well on Goimagine. So at the same time, don't fix what's not broken. If it's working well for you, then leave it how it is. I definitely recommend trying to add in some more keywords. I had cabin, lodge, lake house, man cave, rustic. Try to add those keywords into more of your listings where you can. But the keywords that you are your number one keywords, I think, are already in there, and you're being found for those items really well. You don't have a ton of competition in a lot of the things that you sell on here. Your photographs are great. I don't think I could personally improve them without having a professional photography studio or something. So there's not a whole lot you can do with such large items to make them look any better. But when you do sell them, feel free to ask your customers for photographs if they're just gushing with excitement and love their item. Ask them if they're willing to send you a picture, and maybe you'll get something really good in there that'll be different. Maybe that's where some of these came from. I don't know. There's some variety in like the different bathtubs and stuff. Maybe think about that in the future at least. And as far as the banners here on mobile, at least, let's see if I turn this to the side if it'll change the banner. Well, it's the same banners, they just look different when they're spread out more. I just think there's too many signs on these ones that have multiple. I think it's just too much. I think there should just be 2 or 3 products maybe at the most on each of these. Like I said, that's my opinion. You don't have to change it. Obviously, you do what you want to do, but it's just, for me, it's a lot to look at. And especially with the scrolling, you can't read half of that before it's gone, and then you're looking at something new. So I would consider changing those. If you're going to have more complex ones, then have them, on the website, not on the mobile, because when people are on mobile, they're on the go anyway. They're not really looking to spend time, on it. They're looking to kind of do something a little bit quicker usually. So that's just my personal opinion. I love your videos, love YouTube. Keep doing that. I know it's a lot of work, but I think you definitely want to keep doing that. If you come out with new products, make sure that you make videos for them, and keep with that, because it's definitely got to be making a big difference in your sales and in your buyers' confidence and everything. So overall, really great shop. There's not a whole lot to work on there, in my opinion, but let us know in the comments if anybody sees anything else, if anybody noticed a spelling error or something that looked funny to them. You might as well, nothing, it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. The whole point of this is just to see if there's anything that we can see that Jennifer might want to change about her shop, but ultimately it's always up to her anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this. Hopefully you guys found this helpful or interesting. If you want a shop review, make sure to go to the Goimagine Help Facebook group and put a comment in there. I do have already one waiting that I need to do, and it's usually going to take me about a week or 2 to do each one. I'm doing a little bit of research before I start doing the review. I'm not just jumping on. I need to research and look through everything and kind of plan out some of the things that I want to point out on here. So just keep that in mind, be patient. And I'd love to do some more, and hope everybody enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe to see more videos like this, as well as my other style videos where I am just going over different features and tips and tricks for Goimagine, and sometimes for Etsy and other things too. Have a great day.